NXT starts off with a TNA and NXT Tag Team Championship match, winners takes all between the Hardys and Dark State. This was a fun match. The Hardys picked up the victory, which I'm very mixed on. I don't really know how to feel about it because, one hand, I don't mind it, but on the other hand, I don't like it. Part of it I don't like is because I get the Hardys are iconic tag team, but are we really finna have 50-year-olds winning against our younger talent? But to be fair, at the same time, it is the Hardys, and plus, I understand why they won this match because I know at Bound for Glory, if I'm not mistaken, the Hardys have a tag team championship match against the Dudleys anyway. So if they would have lost this match, then it wouldn't be for the titles. So I understand why they won this match. Now, what does this lead Dark State? I really don't know. And I don't know what this really means for the tag titles because the tag team division was already dead at NXT. I don't see the Hardys really helping with that. So don't know what's next with them. I'm assuming they're going to be on NXT weekly television because that would just be ridiculous if you gave them the tag titles and they're not on TV consistently. But Dark State, I don't know what's next for Dark State to be honest with you because I don't see them going after singles gold. It just doesn't make sense. Like, because who are they going after? Ethan Page? That doesn't really make much sense. And I definitely don't want them going after the NXT Championship, just not now. Like it just doesn't make sense. So I don't know what you do with Dark State to be honest with you. I don't know who they even feud with. So I'm assuming eventually they're going to get those NXT Tag Team titles back. But this was a good way to give TNA some gold because NXT has been taking all of their championships. So this was a way to get TNA to get some championship gold on their side. So I'm very mixed on it. I don't like it, but I don't hate it either. I'm very mixed on it. But it was a fun match. Um, the Hardys are double champions, so they hold the TNA tag team titles and the NXT tag team titles. So we'll see how this plays out. Now the first match between TNA and NXT, the women's side between JC Jane, Jada Parker, Lola Vice, and Soroka versus Team TNA with the Inspirations, Kalani Jordan, and Mars today. This was a fun match, really enjoyable. Early on, you end up getting Mars today and Jada Parker being the first two eliminated on their sides. Throughout this match, they was telling the story with JC Jane and Lola Vice, moments where Lola Vice was tagging JC Jane out, vice versa. It was one moment where Lola Vice ended up accidentally knocking JC Jane off the ring apron. Um, Towards the end of the match, though, you end up getting a. It was also another moment where Jordan Grace was the special guest referee. I forgot about that. It was a moment where Kalani Jordan ended up getting the upper hand on JC Jane, getting a pinfall, but due to the Inspirations interfering after they got eliminated, Jordan Grace was distracted, so Kalani didn't get the pinfall, of course. But towards the end of the match, Soroka ends up hitting a Soul Snatcher. JC Jane ends up taking credit for the pin, and Team NXT won. I like it. This was a fun match. Um, I'm very interested to see what's next with JC Jane because it looks like they're telling the story between her and Lola Vice because they was telling that story throughout the ring with Lola Vice, JC Jane tagging each other out, Lola Vice accidentally attacking JC Jane. So I don't know if they're planning a rematch or they just did that for just for that particular match to tell the story of can the babyface and heels coexist. I don't know, but it was fun for a while it lasted. It was cool. It was enjoyable. I enjoyed the match. Um, I don't know what's next for these women. JCJ, I'm assuming, probably going to face Lola Vice in the future, maybe a rematch. Soroka, it looks like she's going to have a tournament for her North American Championship for Halloween Havoc. So see who ends up winning that. And Jada Parker, she's continuing her feud with Last Legend. So, but overall, I enjoyed this overall. I thought it was a really good match. Now we got the North American Championship match between Ethan Page and Mustafa Ali. This was actually my favorite match of the entire show, in my opinion. This was the match that I was the most excited about. I thought this was a really fun match, man. This match made me realize how much I miss Mustafa in WWE because he is great in the ring. This was a really good match, really fun, really enjoyable. Towards the end of the match, you end up getting a moment where Mustafa ends up going for a suicide dive on Ethan Page on the outside. He hits it, but then during this though, he ends up getting his feet tangled in like the cords of the camera equipment, or whatever, and that ended up costing him the match because that ended up getting in the way. Ethan Page was able to take advantage. I like it. I like the way this was a way to protect Mustafa without having him lose. He lost cleanly, but he didn't. He has a reasoning for why he ended up losing. Now, what's next for Ethan Page after this? I'm assuming he's going to go after the guy that's in AAA because they end up having a backstage segment with one of the AAA champions that Ethan Page is feuding with. So it looks like that's going to be his next thing. Not really excited about it, to be honest with you, because I just don't care. But this match was really fun, really enjoyable. I actually wouldn't have mind if Mustafa won because I feel like it would have made perfect sense for him to win, to finally capture the championship that he was never able to actually compete for due to him being released. I feel like the story wrote itself. I would have actually enjoyed if he actually won it. I don't mind Ethan Page retaining because I am liking Ethan Page North American Championship run. The whole Canadian gimmick is amazing. I love it. So I'm not mad at him retaining, to be honest with you. It was a win-win scenario for me. Ethan Page retains, I'm happy. Mustafa ends up becoming your new North American champion. I was happy. So either way, I was happy either way. So this was good. This was a really fun, enjoyable match. Then we get the main event. Team NXT for the men. You end up getting Javon Evans, Miles Bourne, Trick Williams, Ricky Saints versus Team TNA, Mike Santana, Frankie, Leon Slater, and Moose. This match didn't surprise me. This actually played out exactly how I thought it was because I literally said that it was going to do 1-1. The one side NXT win, one side TNA won. This played out exactly how I thought. I knew the men were going to lose the match and the women were going to win. Makes the most sense because Bound for Glory, you got Trick Williams going after Mike Santana. Well, Mike Santana going after Trick Williams for his TNA championship, so it makes sense for Team NXT to lose in this situation. Miles Bourne got eliminated very quickly, which was very shocking. Like he got eliminated so fast, like it was ridiculous how fast he got eliminated. But it ended up becoming a moment where it was a 2-on-4 situation. Well, a 3-on-1 situation due to Trick Williams leaving Ricky Saints all by himself. What was his reasoning for leaving? We don't know. All I know is that I try to read what he was saying. All he said was, "This is my shit." That's all he said. So I don't know why he left. I'm assuming they're going to have a segment next week. Ricky Saints is going to be mad, cut an opening promo. Trick Williams ends up admitting why he ended up leaving. But yeah, he ended up leaving Ricky Saints all by himself. Ricky Saints was holding his own for a good bit, but he ended up eventually losing due to losing eventually because it was a 2-on-1 situation because Mike Santana and Moose was the last two remaining. So Team TNA won. Um, it was a fine match. I enjoyed it for what it was. This little TNA showdown, it was cool. Now, do I want to see this again? Not really. I'm going to be honest with you. It wasn't bad. It was fun while it lasted, but it's not something I am eager to see on a consistent basis. I'm just going to be honest with you. But overall, this was really fun. The last thing I do want to mention is Soruka, Zarya, and Blake Monroe. They had a backstage segment where Soruka and Zarya was talking. They was having a little bit back and forth. Blake Monroe interferes and is basically saying that the friendship that they have isn't going to last and that she's coming after Soruka's North American Championship. They need to pull that trigger. They need to pull that trigger. Now, one or two things need to happen. Either Blake Monroe wins whenever that match happens, or Zarya turns heel. I don't care which one they do. It's time for Soruka to lose that North American Championship. It's time. She doesn't have no one else to face. She already went through majority of the people that she can face. There are options to beat her. It's time. It's time. Like it's time to let go of that championship. She doesn't. I don't even remember the last time she defended the championship. I think it's time. Either Zarya dethrones her, turns heel, or Blake Monroe wins that championship off her. I don't care which one they do, honestly, because both options are great. But it's time. So I like the backstage segment. I hope it leads to something. I'm hoping it leads to one or the other because they tease both. They tease a Zarya heel turn, but they also tease Blake Monroe going after her and potentially winning it. So either way, I'm fine with either result, but it's time to pull the trigger on one of those two options. Now, the other thing I do want to mention is that there was a backstage segment with Ava, and she ends up mentioning that she's going to have a tournament to see who's the number one contender for Jason James title, NXT Championship. This is very interesting because she's sending an invite to one of the TNA women to get a shot at it as well. So we'll see how that plays out. I'm just assuming Lola Vice will probably win because they was telling the story throughout the match of the TNA versus NXT. They was telling the story between JC Jane and Lola Vice. So I'm assuming Lola Vice will probably just win that, get a rematch. I'm hoping I'm wrong though because I do not want to see another rematch. To be honest with you, I like Lola Vice, but like I said, I do not need her winning that NXT championship. Overall, I thought it was I thought it was a solid show. It was a solid overall show. But you guys let me know your overall thoughts and opinions down below. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. But yeah, that's it.